Welcome to Yeshiva Daf, your sponsor, Nishma Sam Yaakov Shalom Now Basitzchok. We're holding in Basra Daf Kuf Lamed Aleph. We reached the second line in Lamed Aleph. Zok the Gemara. Boy Rav asks, what did Rav ask? Beboriach. What about Bori? Meaning, we're speaking here according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko. Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko is the one who said that a person could redistribute his nechasim. He could say, I want to give it to one son over other sons. I want to give it to one daughter or over other daughters. That's what he could do. So the shaila is, that's a shchimera. A shchimera is about to die. Whatever he says is ksubim mesubim dami, and therefore it works. It's going to be he's going to be able to redistribute it. What about a bori? What about someone who's healthy? Can he go ahead and redistribute the nechasim as well? Does it work only by shchimera or not? And just to explain a little more the question, we learned before, we're talking about Lashon Yerusha. That's what the whole machlekes between Rabbanan and Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko is. He's coming and using the Lashon of inheritance when he's speaking about a bechor. So when he's speaking about redistributing. So we're talking about Yerusha. Yerusha is more applicable to a shchimera and then to a bori. So that's the shaila is, bebori, does it work that way or not? Now, you're going to see now in the two blot that we have for the daf today and daf for tomorrow, of Kulam Daf, Kulam Base, the Gemara is going to bring this question to three places, meaning three different cases that we see boriach. The first one is our sugya. So we're talking about Yochanan ben Berko. So the Gemara, what about a bori? It says the Gemara like this. Kiko Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko b'shchimera adbar rusiu. Are we talking about a shchimera who he is able to bequeath? He's giving a Yerusha. Ava bebori loy, bebori not. Or dilma afil bebori nami yom. Or afil bebori nami, or we say also bori. Question. Amalei Mishash Shel Rav. So Rabbi Shash brings a raya to Rav from the following. The raya we're going to bring is from the lashonis that we could be using, as we'll see in a moment. We're going to go down to a sugya, which is a standalone sugya, but from there we'll derive a raya. Does it work by a bori or not? What is the raya? Tashma. The Amar Lo Rav Nason LaRebbe. Rav Nason, who, as we'll see in a moment, he came from Bava. He told Rebbe, Shanisen Mishnaschem Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko. You learn like a Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko. Why did he learn like a Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko? If not, it says in the Mishnah, it's telling Rebbe who put it together the Mishnahs. Lekosav la bonim dichrim. De yavin lechi minayu. Inun yarsum kesek suvosach yorsechel keyonim achoin. What are we talking about? You have a concept called bonim dichrim. What is a bonim dichrim? Bonim dichrim means when a man marries a woman who has already children. She has children from her previous marriage. So there is a takana that you write bonim dichrim diavelechem minayim. He has children from a different marriage. So the din is that the bonim dichrim diavelechem minayim, the children you have for me, they will get more than their brothers. They will get your ksuva. Right? What does it mean? Usually, a woman gets a ksuva in one of two cases. Either the husband dies, or she gets divorced. That's what she gets ksuva. But if she dies first, so then there's no ksuva. Now here, you want to make sure there's an interest. The woman says, I'm going to have kids from you. I want to make sure that my kids are taken care of. As the Rashbam points out over here as well, you want the father of the woman to give her an edunya, to give her money, and to know that the duty's day is going to come, is going to go to her children. So what do we have? This we learn Mesechus Ksuvas. Something called Ksuvas Bonim Dichrim. What is Ksuvas Bonim Dichrim? The children that she has will get her Ksuva if she dies first. It's a deal. Even though he has maybe children from other marriages, her Ksuva goes to her boys before the Yerusha is being split. So if he didn't write this Lashon, Bonim Dichrim Diavelech Minayin, the male boys that you have for me, they will inherit your ksuva. More than the portion of the brothers. Chayav. He still has to do it. Shetnai bezdinu. It's not bezdinu. So here, what does it say? It says lashon of Yerusha, right? So without going now into the concept of Yerusha, of this bonim dichrim, I'm giving now, the father is giving to some of the children more than the others, and he's using the Lashon of Yerusha. That's a Rabbi Yochanan ben Berko, that you could do such a thing. Says the Gemara, Rebbe Yazbutan. Says Rebbe, the Lashon that you're saying is wrong. Meaning, you're using the Lashon of Ksuvo is Lashon Yarsu, Lashon Yerusha. So you want to be a raya that we hold the Kabir Chaber. It's not Lashon Yerusha. It's Lashon Matana. Yizbon Lashon Matana. We're not using the Lashon of Yerusha. Lashon Matana you can do. As we spoke at Shabbos, when you have a redistribution, can I give to random person? Can I gift him a property? Of course I could. I can't just do it with Lashon Yerusha. So don't use Lashon Yerusha. Lose Lashon Matana. Don't say Yarsu, say Yazbon. V'Amar Rebbe, says Rebbe, look at the Anova of Rebbe. Yaldus hoisobi. I was childish. Ve'asti ponai benos rabavli. I was a chutzpah to Nos Rabavli. Right? Because my answer is the wrong answer, says Rebbe. El de kaimulon borim dichrim loitarfim mishabdi. We know that borim dichrim you can't take mishubadim. You don't take borim dichrim if he sold the nechasim, if he sold the properties to others. Let's say the father sold everything he has to others. So the borim dichrim don't take it. But if the lashon that we use in borim dichrim is a lashon matano, why don't take from mishubadim? We know the rule. If Reuben gifts Shimon, and afterwards he sells it to Levi, Shimon comes first. So if the kids are getting it as a gift, they should come before any other person who bought it. Elama, it's not a gift, it's a Yerusha. Yerusha comes only after every sale that happened in the lifetime of the father. El Shma, you know, Yarsun Shma, now, says Lashon Yerusha. Who's the mandama that says that you do Lashon Yerusha? Because when does one write the ksuva? When he gets married, when he's buried, now he's shchimra. So raya brura that you say Lashon Yerusha by a bari. That's what they say. Only a papa le'abaye. So the papa le'abaye. Bein l'mandama yazbun, bein l'mandama yarsu. Doesn't matter which Lashon you're using. Ha'ena do makne dovo shelo b'loyno. So the way the Rashbam learns, and some Rishonim learn a little differently, but the Rashbam learns, this is the side question, it's a sidebar question. It's nothing to do with our raya. We proved our raya very well. We use Lashon Yerusha, and Lashon Yerusha, if you're redistributing, works only according to Birchim and Berko, that means we're going like a Birchim and Berko. But he says, I don't understand. How does this work? How can I give it to somebody who's not in the world? Right? So he says, we can't make this something that's not here in the world because the kids are not here. I'm not giving it to people that are not in the world. So how can I be marketed to these kids? They're not here. They're not alive. Right? Now, there is some of the Rishonim that want to say that this question is only if you say Lashon Yizbun. Not like our Lashon of the Gemara. The Taisus brings the name of the Rashbam. We have, if you look at the side of the Gemara, you have, it's called Pirush HaRashbam HaIkari. A few places in Basra we have this, they have the Rashbam, they have called Pirush HaRashbam HaIkari. It seems the Taisus had their Rashbam. There the Rashbam says, if it says Yersun, I don't know the question. Because Yerusha always comes after Misa. That's when Yerusha happens. And the kids are already born. His only question is Lashon Yazbun. How can you do Dovo Shelo B'Loy? So the Gemara, Tanai Beis Din Shani. Elamai have to tell me. It's a Tanai Beis Din. Tanai Beis Din means that even though really it is not supposed to work, but it's a special dispensation of Beis Din. Beis Din came and allowed this to happen. They were socket to have it. It's like a Hefker Beis Din Hefker. So you could say, really, we don't like a Birchim and Berko. And really, meaning that would be the question if you want to say, it's a question of Birchim and Berko. And you could say, or going back, that's the two discussions here in the Rishonim. Are we attacking the fact we say Birchim and Berko? And we say, no, we can all not like a Birchim and Berko. And without why is it working now? Not supposed to do one kid out of others. The reason is because it's a Tanai Beis Din. That's one way to learn it. The Rashbam says no. That's not a good way because still, why are you using Lashon Yerusha and Lashon Matana? I'm doing Takanos basis. At least do it the right way. Why should I play the system? Said the Rashbam, the Gemara is asking on the question of Rebbe on himself. Rebbe said, has to be that this is a Yerusha, not a Matana. Because if it's not a Matana, if it's a Matana, why don't you take him to Chosim Mishubadim? Right? Answer is, Tnai Bezdin. Bezdin said, you don't take him to Chosim Mishubadim. So why Rebbe forced himself to say differently? So it says the Gemara, Amalei Mishum de Kamafik Lo Beloshon Yarsun. So according to the Mishnah, the question was exactly what we answered. Why do you say Loshon Yerusha? So, right? So he says, I'm saying something, I said that the Rashbam didn't say that way. This is also the way this part of the Gemara, the Rashbam learns the same way. Look at the Rashbam, it says, look at the Rashbam. Rashbam says that, so he says, look at Losh Rashbam, the only that base, you have to base the Afka, like, the full dose of Baloyno. Fanachidami holding Trai Bezi, Amga the Amri, Rabon, Moshe Yerusha, Balmo, Loy Koni, Ocha Koni, Pafilu Rabon, Asavastisi. So I said the Rashbam doesn't say that. The Rashbam is the one who says it. The Rashbam learns this is the question of the Gemara. The Gemara is asking, why do you say that we're going like Rebbe Breko? We're not going like Rebbe Breko. We're going like Rabbanon. It doesn't work with Losh Yerusha. Trai Bezi, it works. Says the Gemara, Amr should not be Losh Yerusha. Look next to Rashbam, how the Loy Kol, Melachim, should have the Omer Amnason. So the you want to say that basically you're right. Basically can do whatever they want, but why should you do that? Like we said before, that's the answer of the Gemara. Says Abaye, this whole raya that we're bringing over here, that even by Bari, I'm using Rechem Bebreko. It's not a good raya. Why not? And then there's another Tnai Bezdin. What is the other Tnai Bezdin? We learned what that basing was that the ksuva goes to the kids of the wife. There's another that basing. What's the other that basing? Like kosav lebonu nukvon diaven lechiminayin, the daughters that you have from me, you have a yason bebezi, they will sit in my house, and they will be fed from my property. Until they get married. What's that basing? You have to support the daughters. The sons are getting Yerusha. What are the daughters are getting? Daibezin, they get mezainis until they get married. That's part of the daibezin. So that also works. Now what's the law? This is another daibezin. Without going into Inyonik Suvis, this is another daibezin. What is the lotion that we're using over here? Mitzah minichosai. It doesn't say lotion Yerusha. This is a lotion of matana. I'm giving a gift to the daughters. I'm giving them food. So now, therefore what? As we learned in 2 blocks ago, we learned, when you have a shtar, it says Yerusha to Reuven and Matana to Shimon, it works. Because the Matana that says by Shimon works for Reuven as well. So even though I cannot redistribute it with Lashon Yerusha, that's only if I'm only using Lashon Yerusha. But if I'm losing the Lashon Matana as well, then I could distribute it. That's the shot over here. Because of that Ksuva, it says Lashon Yerusha, the Gabi, the Ksuva is more different. It says Lashon Matana regarding the mezoinus of the bonus. So the Lashon Matana works for Lashon Yerusha. That's the word says Zeb Matana was Zeb Yerusha. Kol Zeb Yerusha Zeb Matana. When I have a Lashon Yerusha to one, Lashon Matana to the other, for the bottom I do. So what do you have? There's no right over here. It could be the one that Rebbe spoke only about a Shchimiran, not about a Bari. So why here it works with Yarsun? Because you have Lashon Matana by Bari Nukva. These don't have Chananya, Varmin Yumi, Labai, Tolabai, when down from Kulam down for base. Me might the Bechad Bedina Itkun, they'll betray Bedina Itkun. What are you assuming? That why I don't have a problem to use Lashon Yerusha? The Kodesh Rabbanon is to lose Lashon Yerusha. Why I don't have a problem? Because I'm going to lose Lashon Matana as well. That's if you're assuming that the same Beis Din established this rule, that I have Lashon Yerusha and I have Lashon Matana in the same shtar. Then you're right. But who said that these two Tnai Beis Din were established together? Maybe Lashon Yerusha was written by one Beis Din, 50 years later, there's another Beis Din that made Lashon for the daughter. And the first Takana was Lashon Yerusha only. And you see Lashon Yerusha works in the Bar. So the more that can't be. Tani ratio is the midrash dorish of Lozo ben Azariah fi Chachon b'Keren b'Yamne. Lozo ben Azariah said in Keren b'Yamne the following drasha: Habonim yiroshu ve'abonim yisizoynu. There's two takanos that we have in Ksuva, two takanos they based it. One that the boys inherit the mother's Ksuva, and one that the daughters are fed by until they get married. Ma'abonim and Yoshim elachem misavim. The abonim don't get it only after the father dies, because before that you're not giving them Ksuva. Most of the daughters not being fed until the father dies. If the father's alive, she's not around, you don't feed the daughters based on this Tanakh Ksuva. So you learn one from each other. So you see they're both everything together because you're saying you're learning, it's almost like a hekish. And the Lashon is they learn more from each other. So the one, if you say they were both written in the same Beis Din, I can learn one from each other. Eliyahu betrayed Beidin. You want to tell me you learn from two different Beis Din? How do you learn from another? Two different takanas. They were established at two different times. So the more you mind. Betray Beidin. It could be these takanas were written in two different Beis Din. The second Beis Din, when they established it, they knew about the first Beis Din. So what is it? And therefore they did a lashon that will fit. And they learn more from each other. So meaning, not that each Beis Din said his own takana independent. The first Beis Din did the takana on his own, and it said Loshen Yerusha. Many years later, came another Beis Din says we have to add another takana that we're going to feed the daughters. Let's write it and add it to the existing nusach. And then they were makbid to do it in a way that we can learn one from each other. But we still have a raya, the fact that the first Beis Din wrote Loshen Yerusha. That means they go like a Berachim and Breaker. And they did it by a bari, that means the Berachim goes like a bari. So it's a good raya. So the Gemara doesn't end with a raya or not. Because the Gemara tried to say, maybe we're talking about that we don't have Loshen Yerusha because Loshen Matana. It's like, well, I don't know, maybe it was too late, but they didn't. So I don't know if I have a raya or I don't have a raya. And without, the Gemara stays with it. As we mentioned beginning of this year, the Gemara now, these two blad are bringing three cases where Rava asked, what about a bari? Right? So now we're going to go down to the next case. Case number 2, that we speak about a bari. But on this daf, we're going to learn only the case, and then only in the next daf, we'll get to the question. So what's the case? Person writes all his nechasim to his wife. Everything. He didn't mean for her to get everything. He will not do that, take everything away from his kids. So what did he mean to do? He meant to make her in charge, the apotropos, to be the one who's in charge on the property. She's the manager. She made her a manager. That's it. It's a covet for her to be a manager, but she's not giving her anything. That's the rule. Something more. If he gives everything to his oldest son, he made him in charge. Because we say most probably he wasn't intending to take away everything from his other kids. What about a young child? Explain the Rashbam. So you say maybe because there is a din of kibudach, they have a special din to be mechaber the brother. But I don't have such a din. So why would he give the whole thing and make him not pajamas? Even a young baby, he said giving everything to the child, he's not actually meaning to give it to him. He's saying he's going to be the manager, even though he's not yet ready for that. Doesn't mean he's giving to him anything. It says more pshito b'noi ve'acher, acher b'matona u'b'noi apotropos. He gives it to his son or acher. The son is giving it as apotropos, making him in charge. A stranger not. Now, here the Rashbam brings three explanations, but the two explanations we'll focus on are basically very similar. One explanation is there's two separate cases. He gives to B'nai, all the Nechasim, he means to make him apotropos. He gives it to a stranger, he's actually giving it to him. Two different cases. Or, so the Rashbam can be in the same case, and then we'll go like this. I'm giving 50% to somebody else, and 50% to my son. The 50% to somebody else, he actually means it. The 50% to his son, it doesn't mean to give the whole thing to the 50% to his son. He means to give it to all his children, and this son will be in charge. Let's see the parentheses over here. Ishtoi ve'acher, la'acher matona b'ishta apotropos. Similar idea, because the wife you give him as apotropos, and acher not. Ishtoi aruso ve'ishtoi grusho b'matona. If it's his wife who is not married to, only engaged, only aruso, or a wife that he divorced, he's not giving her covet, he's not making her a manager. And if he's giving it to her, that means he's giving it to her as a gift. Iboilu, says the Gemara, question. Bat etzelabonim. If he's giving to a daughter everything, and you have boys. Ve'isha etzelachi, or a wife, not among his sons, but among his brothers. Let's say he has no children, so his brother is supposed to inherit him. He makes the wife get everything. Ve'isha etzebnei abba, or he has children, but not his wife's children. And he made the wife, gave her everything. Ma, meaning, do we say that in these cases, when you have a wife and kids, you're saying he gave it to the kids. He's giving it to her kids. Even she wants to give it to her kids. So what is he giving it to her? To be a patropos, to be a manager. But if it's not his kids, it's somebody else, it's not her kids, it's other kids, maybe then she's not going to be agreeing to do it. Maybe then she's not going to do it. Or if it's his brothers, maybe an echanami he's giving her as a gift. Or let's say it's a daughter. A daughter, she's making her in charge, he's giving her everything. Says the Gemara, Omar Avino, Mishvei de Ravo, Ravina says the name of Ravo, Bekulu loy kanu levar mishtar rushta v'isagrush. Meaning, we brought 5 cases. And right after the parentheses, 5 cases. His unmarried wife, his divorced wife, his daughter among boys, the wife among brothers, and the wife among his sons. He says 3 out of the 5 cases, she is what? Going to be only in charge. She's going to be the manager. She's not inheriting. Except the first 2 cases, which is his unmarried wife and divorced wife. In all 5 cases, except the last 2 cases, a woman by his brothers and a woman by his children. That there, he's not making her a manager in that case, he's actually giving it to her. So as the Rashbam puts out, the machlik is really only in the middle case, meaning the machlik is between Ravino and Rabaviro is in the case number 3, a daughter amongst the brothers. According to Ravino, he's making her a manager. According to Ravino, he's making her a manager, yeah. According to Ravira, he's actually inheriting. The machlikas will be by the daughter. So this is the case of the thing. The person makes a wife, gives her everything, he doesn't actually mean it. The Gemara brings in other cases, and with this we end this daf. And now the Gemara is going to go ahead to ask what happens. Is we talk about someone who is a shchimera, or we talk about somebody who is a bari. That's really the cases, like we said, that Rava is going to speak about. All these different cases that you have, do you apply that to a bari or not? And this will continue to the next daf.